It being 7 o'clock, October 4th, the Wolfeboro ZBA. I'm going to call it into session. Roll call. Dave Senecal, alternate.
Tim Cronin.
Audrey Klein, chairperson.
Sarah Silk, member.
Luke Freudenberg, member.
Suzanne Ryan, board member.
And Tavis Austin, town planner. I wanted to make an announcement pursuant to the meeting on September 20th for TM 203-47, case 16V21, Taylor Homes. There was a 3-person board that night, and the vote was 2 members to pass the variance and 1 member to fail the variance. And it was announced that the variance was approved, but in fact, the variance can't be approved without at least 3 concurring votes per RSA 174-33-3. So the variance for Taylor Homes did not pass last month, and we wanted to make that announcement to make sure that everybody had that information. So based on that, I would like to ask the board members whether they would care to ask for a rehearing on the board's behalf to rehear this application or not, and if we would like to, then we would need to vote and have a motion and vote. So would anybody like to opinion on whether they would like to consider a rehearing on the board's behalf?
I would make a motion not to rehear.
I'll second.
I was just going to put my hand up and say that if the applicant cares to appeal, they may.
That's true, too. Okay, there was a motion to not rehear, not request a rehearing, and all in favor to not request a rehearing?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Opposed? There's nobody left. Thank you. So that was our discussion on the procedural items tonight. Does any member have anything they would like to discuss before we move on to approval of the minutes? Is anybody awake?
Just board members are thinking about things they may or may not have to discuss. Currently, there is no person to do minutes for the zoning board meetings. I'm going to do my best to keep record at this point for tonight's meeting. But moving forward, the board should assign someone to do minutes. So that position is filled.
Leanne won't be available to do it from tape. She did it for our last meeting, it appears.
Leanne originally volunteered to assist through September until someone could be secured, but no one has been secured. So
Okay.
I would need to reach out to her again, but I have on fairly good authority.
Yeah. No, I
done.
thought she did a good job, so thank you.
So we have 3 sets of minutes. Maybe we could address the August 2nd one first.
Second first.
Which one are you starting with? June 29th?
August 2nd was the work meeting, and there's 8 pages of draft minutes.
Audrey.
9. Yes, Dave.
David on.
To sit for
Point
Luke.
David and then.
Oh, sorry. Luke Freudenberg has excused himself, and I'm going to appoint Dave as the alternate. When did that happen?
Flipped out.
Yes.
Dave?
I didn't have any changes, and unless somebody does, I'll make a motion to accept the August 2nd minutes as written.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any abstain? Any not in favor?
Did you vote? Oh, okay, I didn't hear it.
On to the minutes of July 19th. I have a couple of things.
For purposes of clarity, if you have a couple of changes and they get agreed upon, if we could just have an annotated copy, I will make a copy at a later date.
Okay,
And just tell us what page, we know where you are.
yeah. Be nice to have line numbers, but,
I can do that moving forward, that's easy.
okay. I think you just voted on those.
That's the ones?
Yes.
What one are we doing now then?
July 19th.
19th.
On page 7, I think it's at time 104.45 on the tape, Suzanne said that,
Can you just tell us what paragraph it is on page 7?
well, it's not here, so
Okay.
it's in between the two paragraphs that start with Audrey Klein. Suzanne said that, made the point that this was in the residential zone. At 1:52 on the tape, Dan Coons,
What page is that?
this is page 11 at the top. Dan Coons, this says, Dan Coons offered that in 2003 there was a blanket 50-foot setback from all wetlands, which was subsequently changed to 30 feet. And he said, and 75 feet for very poorly drained wetlands. And so those wetlands do need to be redefined.
Okay, now my pages are not the same as your pages.
Don't have 11,
I do.
top of the page.
I don't see Dan Coons anyways.
Okay, so we print these offline, and this is one of the problems with printing our own stuff. Now, if we had line numbers, I guess it wouldn't matter.
Is it says Dan Coons offered it in 2003? There was a
Yes.
blank. Okay, now I found it. That's actually on my page 10, about halfway down.
Right.
I'm sorry, I was distracted by trying to find it. Could
Okay.
you repeat it?
At video, 1 hour and 52 minutes, about Dan Coons, in addition to what he said, and 75 feet for very poorly drained wetlands do need to be redefined or redelineated.
Thank you, Audrey.
Let's see, my page 12. Public hearing was closed at 9:15. Suzanne Ryan read from the residential district definition and other uses that could be underlying for, and then it says, I think she said RSA, or this says RSA, and it's not an RSA. I think she was quoting the sections in the zoning, 175, 81, and 82.
I have that on page 11, the very last paragraph.
Okay. On that same page, my page 12, I believe Sarah Silk said, Sarah Silk agreed with the museums needing space to store artifacts. However, she is not convinced that this is a special exception use and should be considered as a variance. I believe she said also, I can't read my own writing. And this was a while ago. Guess I'll leave that. If you caught it, then you can change
Don't remember what it would have been.
At 2:31, I think there was an important point that I made that's not in here. And I said that this use cannot be an accessory to something that has moved. To something that has moved.
Is that the paragraph says, "Our decline stage felt subordinate and accessory is solely defined by location or by location"? Okay, it's the next one down. Read that again, please. Why are these, we didn't get them printed and put in a packet? Is that why everybody's printed different?
Okay,
No,
so maybe it's me that printed mine
Mine.
separately.
Oh, okay, all right.
July 19th minutes.
I mean, whether
Oh,
copy she has.
no, these are just the ones they handed out.
Okay. I guess that's, I tried to go through the tape and then make notes, but it was very difficult. The timeline for appeal on this has long since passed, so great detail on my part is not as important. Anybody else have anything to say about these ones? July 19th?
As amended?
With the changes made by Audrey.
I'll second
I'll-
that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, minutes of June 23rd.
Third.
Tavis, I wanted to ask, I don't see in June 23rd that June 7ths were approved. Were 7ths approved? They're not on the agenda.
I believe we
Could go after the June 23rd, it's just not on the agenda, so I wasn't sure.
Trying to get to the end of that meeting to see the prior meeting.
Okay, while you look at that, does anybody have any comments on June 23rd?
I did.
Okay, let's wait for Tavis because he's got to
On
take the
page
comment.
15. At the top of the page, there is a motion. Suzanne Ryan made a motion to continue the special exception for the New Hampshire Boat Museum to a date and time certain for the museum to provide the board with, at a minimum, the documentation required by a special use application. This information to be applied to one single pan with a proposed project. Motion passed unanimously with a 5-0 vote, but it didn't state who made the second.
I don't know if it was seconded.
We couldn't have voted on it if it wasn't a second.
My recollection of that meeting is there were a number of motions made that didn't get seconds, and ultimately, I believe the boat museum was canceled after quite a lot of discussion, potentially after the boat museum had already left the room.
It said motion passed unanimously with a 5-0 vote.
If that's the case, I can go back and see if I can hear it in the...
It's so far past the appeal period.
I second it.
favor.
Remember, the cameras are on.
No, you can hear it. If there's a recording, and here's the thing is, we can't rely on the recordings, you know, unfortunately. It's great to be able to, but the fact is, we can't rely on it. We don't know if the sound's there, we don't know if the recording's there, we don't know if YouTube's gonna put it up, you know.
If you go to what I'm calling page 16 of 18, Suzanne Ryan made a motion, Luke Frudenberg seconded, to approve case 12 SE 21 and grant special exception to allow Weatherport Campground to expand from 48 to 60 campsite. Motion
no
passed
second.
5-0. Suzanne Ryan then made a motion, which was seconded by Audrey Klein, to renotice case 10 SE 21 for the Boat Museum to continue to a date certain. So that's when it actually happened in the meeting.
Gotcha.
But it had been discussed previously but not voted on. So I'm happy to move that paragraph up to the appropriate place on page 15 if you'd like.
It does say it's voted on, but
Well, that's what I mean. I think Boat Museum had left, campground went through, and then there was a motion before the meeting adjourned to continue the Boat Museum.
That's why we did it time, but
My guess is because there wasn't a second or a vote.
Well, okay.
any other?
And with that, I cannot see that the prior minutes were approved in this meeting.
The 7th, okay. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to, Suzanne,
You did?
motion to approve the 23rd? Did you make the motion to approve the 23rd? I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, done.
June 7th.
Now, these weren't on the agenda. Can we do them anyway?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Which one are you looking at now?
June 7th.
As was discussed earlier this evening in the non-meeting, you could probably make any amendments at any point.
I don't have.
I think that's the minutes
Oh.
that made me chair, so I think we'd better pass them.
The first motion I see is motion to have everything that was scheduled for the 7th moved to the 23rd.
On the bottom of page 2.
No, that was the one that had the special exceptions. It didn't have the 3 members concurrently doing a site walk.
That's
And there were
right.
some noticing errors with paper. So the 7th literally just moved everything from the 7th to the 23rd. The only thing that was heard that evening was Wolfeboro Public Library variance for increased signage that was approved.
Thank you.
And yes, page 4, Suzanne Ryan motion, Audrey Klein for chair, Sarah Sook second, all in favor, unanimous. Tim Cronin motion for Luke vice chair, Audrey Klein second, all in favor. No, Suzanne Ryan voted no, so it was a 4-1 vote there. Tim Cronin is clerk with a 5-0 vote. And some business after that. And a set of minutes from April. So if you want, I can put that on for the next meeting. Discuss it tonight.
No issues with it. Anybody have any corrections?
You all set?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
That gets us up to date now on all of that.
I believe it does. Okay.
Is that it?
Good. Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.